Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Buenos días, damas y caballeros. Yorobun annyeonghaseyo. Minasama ohayou gozaimasu. In our monthly service today, we have just prayed for world peace, world salvation, and the joyous life for all the brothers and sisters in the world. And we thank you. I want to thank our interpreters in advance, Mrs. Alim Kim and Reverend Hiroko Okazaki, in advance for the hard work in interpreting for me. I know it's not an easy job. Thank you so much. Today I will be talking about the key to opening up our path in America and Canada, which I believe to be the service, the Otefuri. For information, I will be using the words Otefuri and Teodori interchangeably. They both basically mean the same thing, the service, dance with hand movements. I'm truly privileged to give today's sermon, and I thank the bishop for appointing me, and I thank you all in advance for your kind attention. Before I begin my main talk, has anyone noticed anything different about me? Yes, my old man beard is now all gone. I'm back. What do you think? All right. Well, I'm sure you're wondering, well, why did you shave your beard? And my answer is, the wife always wins. In fact, my wife recently told me, I have to shave, or else. And I didn't want to find out what or else meant, but I knew. Well, enough about me. Let us talk about something more important, the Otefuri service dance, which I believe is a key to opening up our path in America and Canada. Let me explain. First of all, in Tenrikyo, the two main pillars of salvation are the service and the sazuke. I believe that the sazuke prayer receives its effectiveness, one, through the performance of the service, which purifies our minds, and of course, two, our sincerity in administering the sazuke. In essence, I believe that the service and the sazuke are one in truth and are inextricably tied to the Kagura service, as well as to our daily and monthly services and our Otefuri that we do here in America and Canada and elsewhere in the world. But how is this Otefuri service dance going to truly open up our path in America and Canada? We have been doing this service here in America and Canada for over 90 years. So why is our path here not already flourishing? There may be many reasons. But to try to answer this question, let us look back to Tenrikyo when it was growing at an unbelievable pace. Did you know that in the 10 years from 1887, when Oyasama withdrew from physical life, until a decade later, in 1897, it's estimated that Tenrikyo grew from a small group of thousands of followers to 7 or 8 million. How is that even possible? That was almost 10% of the Japanese population at that time. Well, I am thinking that this must have been mainly due to the performance of the service and the special prayer services, because still relatively few followers had been granted the sazuke by that time. Now let us say what the Mikagura-Uta says about the service. Song 6, verses 4 and 5. Quote, "Fourth, I am pleased that you have followed to join the service. This service is the fundamental way for salvation. Fifth, always performing the Kagura and Teodori. In the future, I will work remarkable salvation. So here, it is very clear. God is pleased when we do the service, and that this service is the basis for our salvation. Further, when we perform the Kagura, and in our case, the seated service, and the Teodori, God will work remarkable salvation. Next, in the Fudesaki it says, quote, "If you wish that the crops grow spiritedly, do the Kagura service and the Teodori. At this time, begin the Teodori quickly. That will be the sign for miraculous things to come." Unquote. Here, the crops can be a metaphor for all things that sustain our lives, including food and other blessings. So if we want abundant blessings, God asks us to do the Teodori service quickly, as this will lead to miracles. Further, in the Fudesaki, as the bishop mentioned 2 months ago in his October sermon, we are taught that this service achieves at least the 5 following things. Quote, "What do you think this service is? It is none other than the means to universal salvation. What do you think this service is about? It is solely to bring peace to the world and salvation to all. By this service, which teaches this path quickly, all minds of the world will be purified. Day by day, hasten to begin the service. You will escape any danger whatever. However serious your illness may be, you will all be saved by the service done single-heartedly." Unquote. The purpose of the service, therefore, is to save all people, to settle the world in peace, to teach the path quickly, to purify our minds, to escape any danger, and to be saved from any illness. This is how powerful this service is. In addition, the Shinbasha in Instruction 4 specifically asks us, quote, "Pray for a solution through performing the service," unquote. For all these reasons, now more than ever, we need to pray for others by performing the service more and more. When I say perform the service, in addition to our daily and monthly services, I mean doing the special prayer services, the Onegai Zutome. Before my services, I always try to tell our church members that the Tenrikyo service is, in its essence, a gratitude service. Then secondly, a prayer service to ask for others to be saved. And then lastly, it can also be a prayer to ask for God's help for one's self. When my kids used to ask me, "Oh, Daddy, why do we have to do the service every day?" I would tell them, "Well, kids, God gives us blessings every day. So that's our way of saying thank you to God." But one time, my son Ricky, who was a very smart young man, or boy at that time, he said, "Daddy, no, you are wrong. When I want to say thank you to God, I say, thank you, God." That's it. And he was about 6 or 7 years old at the time. And for the life of me, I could not argue against that logic. But I think he understands now. Is that right, Nicky? Okay, he's nodding his head. Okay, great. All right. So, for people who are close by, we can always do the Sazuke prayer whenever someone is ill, physically, mentally, or emotionally. However, including for people far away, we can pray for them through the service through the performance of the seated service and or teodori. And back in the day, that is how our predecessors prayed and received clear and remarkable blessings. They would do special prayer services, which we call onegaizutome. Let me cite from the anecdotes to give you an idea of what their special prayer services were and what blessings they provided. In anecdote 199, titled Just One, a woman named Seihanda, at the age of 49, developed a near-death abdominal condition and was given up by doctors, to which Oyasama said, quote, "She will not die. Go back quickly and perform the service with sincerity." Then the followers performed a special prayer service for her recovery for 3 days and 3 nights, 6 times a day. However, when the third day came, there were no signs of her condition improving. So another special service prayer was performed in the same manner for, again, 3 days and 3 nights, unquote. For your information, this special prayer service consisted of the seated service and the teodori service dance performed 3 times during the day and 3 times at night. And if you do the math, that comes out to a whole monthly service of Otefuri every 4 hours. Are you listening, kids? Every 4 hours, a monthly service. Seihanda miraculously recovered and went on to live for 30 more years to the ripe age of 79, doing more and more salvation work. In the anecdotes 108, titled The Roads to the Summit Are Many, a man named Seijiro Imagawa had been suffering for many years also from a stomach ailment. Quote, "Upon receiving 3 days and 3 nights of prayer, he was blessed with a complete recovery from the stomach ailment that had troubled him for 30 years, unquote. And these are just 2 examples. I believe that our pioneers just naturally did this, and it was par for the course. Here we can see the lengths to which our early pioneers did the Otefuri as a way to receive wondrous and miraculous blessings. However, today, what do we do? As for myself, I hate to admit this, but I used to hate and could not do the Otefuri, not even Yorozuyo. And that was because I did not understand Japanese or the hand movements. And it still amazes me to this day how someone who hated the Otefuri, me, got chosen to make this red book, the Otefuri Guide. God indeed does work in wondrous ways. What amazes me more, however, is how many times while I danced the Otefuri, the words of the Mikagura-Uta moved me to tears and gave me messages from God when I needed them the most. But again, the Mikagura-Uta and Otefuri affected me in this way only because I had studied Japanese for 5 years in college and lived in Japan for a decade. I would now like to give a more personal example of the power of prayer in Tenrikyo. My mother, Kazuko Okazaki, has been doing special prayer services, onegaizutome, for our followers every day for many, many years. Sometimes I would join in, and other times I would not. However, when some of our followers who lived far away developed grave illnesses, I too began dancing the teodori with my mom. And now it has become part of my daily devotion. One of the peoples that we now pray for have been diagnosed with a late-stage illness. And at one time, things looked very bad. The doctors had given up hope. But by some miracle, due to Oyasama's blessings, this person's symptoms and test results have greatly improved, and they are now living a near normal life. This person is very dear to me, and gratitude fills my heart because Oyasama has allowed me, through the Otefuri service dance, to pray for her, which allows me to directly connect with the cosmos and to engage with the entire universe, which is the body of God. I would now like to lighten things up a bit here now, and I have a quiz for everyone here, and this includes the bishop and Oksan and everyone here. I would like to now ask everyone to please stand. Would everyone please stand? Would everyone please stand? This just for a minute, won't be too long. All right. Everyone, I'm now going to ask you a few questions, and you all must be honest, or this exercise won't work, okay? And you will respond by staying standing or sitting down, okay? Good? All right. Okay. Now, who here can do the whole seated service all by yourself without the help of anyone or any aid whatsoever? If not, please sit down. So if you can't do it all by yourself with no aid, please sit down. All right, this is great. All right. Now, who can do Yorozuyo all by yourself without any help? If not, please sit down. Oh, still great. All right. Now, this gets more interesting. Who can do the first half, songs 1 through 6, without the help of anyone? No printed words, no one by your side, no CD from Shimbashira, nothing. If not, please sit down. That's still good, and we appreciate the honesty of everyone. Okay. Now, finally, who can do all 12 songs, the whole enchilada? If not, please sit down. Everyone left standing, let's give them a hand. Okay, please stay standing. Please stay standing, okay? All right. Now, my next question to everyone who is still standing: who understands Japanese? And if you do, please sit down now. So Japanese speakers, please sit down. Who do we have left? Stay standing, stay standing. Sorry. Okay. You are a superwoman. We need more people like you, do we not? However, the fact that we have so few of you indicates to me that we have a problem, Houston. And this is our problem. You can sit, thank you. In America and Canada, that we don't have enough K-moristas. Okay? And sorry for keeping you standing up for so long. All right. Now, the problem is that in order to know how to dance the whole Otefuri independently, understanding Japanese is almost a requirement. The only people I know in America and Canada who can do all the Otefuri without understanding Japanese are Reverend George Blesh, Mrs. Louis Saki, and our very own Kei Morishita. And if I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, I would be very pleased. Now, given how important this service is, we must find better ways to effectively teach English speakers the Otefuri service dance. If after 90 years we can only get a handful of non-Japanese speakers to learn our all-important Otefuri, then that tells me that we need to be doing something different now. Steve Jobs of Apple once said, "Think different." Also, Einstein once said, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results." And let us not be crazy. Let us stop doing the same thing over and over so that we can get different and better results for Oyasama. Now, how can we strike a chord with people in America and Canada who don't understand Japanese and don't understand our service? We must promote inclusion, diversity, and equity to have an equal playing field in learning Oyasama's precious Otefuri. In our public schools today, if a child has a special need, such as ADHD, dyslexia, or autism, they get special instruction that fits their need so that they can succeed. In the same way that we help kids with learning disabilities, we need to change something so that we can better help our English speakers learn the Otefuri, so that they can also succeed and maybe someday become future Tenrikyo supermen and superwomen in spreading Oyasama's teachings here in America and Canada, like Reverend K. And let me be clear, not being able to understand Japanese is essentially a learning disability in understanding, learning, and remembering the Otefuri service dance. I believe that one of the major reasons that the success of Tenrikyo in Korea is that they can perform the service and sasuke in their own native language of Korean. And our lovely interpreter, Mrs. Ah-Ling Kim, is a shining example. She first learned the Mikagura-Uta and Otefuri in Korean, but she can now dance it just as well in Japanese. In fact, she told me the other day that she loves the Japanese and Korean Mikagura-Uta equally. Ah-Ling Kim, 감사합니다. 이쁘네요. I believe the English SDM, Singable-Danceable Mikagura-Uta, can help us open new gateways to capture the hearts and minds of our brothers and sisters in America and Canada. So let us proactively use the SDM as a tool to help encourage more and more people to actually do the service as a prayer for others, which is one of our 90th anniversary goals. Quote, let us pray to God the Parent for those in our communities through the service, unquote. Further, in Anecdotes 18, titled Songs of Truth, in reference to the Mikagura-Uta and Teodori, Oyasama said, quote, these are the songs for the service. These are the songs of truth. You must dance to the truth, unquote. The English SDM is a near direct translation of the Mikagura-Uta that matches the lyrics with the hand movements and matches syllable by syllable the tune and melody as taught by Oyasama. Other than where the throw hand movements occurs, the finalized SDM Seated Service and Yorozuyo match the meaning of the truth of the songs with the truth of the dance 100%. In other words, the riburi, the truth of the words, matches the teburi, the truth of the hands. SDM is merely a tool, but an important tool which can be the key to allow our English speakers to someday be able to sing and dance the Mikagura-Uta and Otefuri exactly as taught to us by Oyasama herself, just like Ms. Ah-Ling Kim has. Every child of God the Parent needs to be able to crawl before they can walk, run, or someday dance. This SDM can help English speakers get on their feet to truly feel in their body, their brain, and their breath the beauty of Oyasama's precious Otefuri and Mikagura-Uta. And in case you're wondering, please know that the SDM will never be forced upon you or anyone. But there are many people who may need it so that they may someday feel what Japanese speakers can feel when they dance to Oyasama's wonderful teachings. Actions speak louder than words, so please allow me now to demonstrate our final Seated Service and Yorozuyo SDM, as was introduced this summer at the Soulfire Conference. All ills sweep away and save us, please. Tendi ono mikoto. All ills sweep away and save us, please. Tendi ono mikoto. All ills sweep away and save us, please. Tendi ono mikoto. Part 2. Just a word to you, to what God is saying. Listen, please. No harmful thing to you will I ever say. With this world's earth and heavens as a model, husband and wife I created with the greatest care. This is how I began this world. Namu tendi ono mikoto. Part 3. All ills sweeping away salvation I hasten, one and all purified, then kanrodai. All ills sweeping away salvation I hasten, one and all purified, then kanrodai. All ills sweeping away salvation I hasten, one and all purified, then kanrodai. Now this will be a little bit harder. Hopefully I'll get it. Through all ages of the world, at all people, I've looked here and there. My heart is understood by no one, none at all. So should it be to teach and have you listen. This I have not done. That you don't know is certainly only natural. Now at this time I, God, have to the fore revealed myself and all things in full detail. Teach you, listen now. This place here in Yamato, Jiba, is God's residence. You say this, yet to you the origin's not known. To this origin taught in detail, if you listen, when you have done this, whoever you may be, yearning will fill you. Listen, if you wish, then seek me. Come and I will teach you. Listen now about all things in detail, the origin of all. When God has come forth and all things in detail are taught, when this is done, all the world, one and all, will become spirited. Every one of you too quickly save you. Since I am in haste, all the world's minds must also become spirited. Namu tendi o no mikoto yoshi yoshi. Thank you. This project began in 1994, almost 30 years ago, and many people have contributed to its content. And I am so grateful that we have been able to come to this point. And to everyone who has been involved in this project, I thank you. It is my belief that if we better help our American and Canadian brothers and sisters, especially our youth, to understand and embrace the Otefuri service dance and to practice all its wonders and blessings, this will become the catalyst that propels our path forward here. And I believe that this will enable the local American and Canadian path to enjoy all the blessings of the service as promised to us by God the Parent in our scriptures. To our wonderful interpreters, Arlene Kim and the love of my life, Reverend Hiroko, let us thank them for the wonderful interpretation. I thank you for your kind attention.